You were asking about subtle worlds. It is a broad topic, even though it's quite simple. I wouldn't want to say too many words. The thing is that at the school we are aiming to pass all of them, to get out of the mechanism of purification completely. If we neglect it in our regular life, then we will get trained in the subtle worlds after death. Yes. There the purification mechanism exists too, and our task is to get through all of this mechanism while we are in our physical body. Relatively speaking, the subtle world contains 7 parts, often called spheres. And there we do the work with everything we brought from the world of forms. I don't want to talk about it right now. I have covered this topic a couple of times. Many words can be said, but the actual mechanism is quite simple. Our purpose is to go beyond all material worlds. What we call enlightenment, it takes lots of hard work. That's what we do here. Otherwise, it is just continuous running in the samsara cycle. So, if we don't exit it in the course of the current life, if the individuality doesn't get out while the body is still alive, then the samsara cycle repeats again. It's like we repeat the same grade of the school until we gain enough experience to move forward. In the modern fast-paced world, the only real possibility to exit this mechanism of purification is with a team. Any other options have some kind of mysticism in it. So with this we're clear. Or if you still have some questions, there are a few recordings where I cover this topic. You can listen to it if you need. Because in our culture the afterlife world is barely mentioned. We try to avoid such topics, simply because we know almost nothing about it. It is easier for us to keep things the way they are. At the same time, we worry about getting closer to the cemetery every day. Basically, it is one of the main human fears. Once you see the mechanism of purification more and start cooperating with it, these fears will begin falling off. Your focus is on how to become the true self faster, so that this mechanism trains you less. That's it. All of the suffering disappears and everything starts to come to its places. Gennady, I have a question. You've said the more you start to cooperate with the mechanism of purification. What did you mean by that? I meant once you realize how it works, that it exists not just in the material world, but in the subtle worlds too. And with all of our accumulated experience, we will be put in different parts of the subtle world. And depending on what we brought with us, it will be hell, heaven, or purgatory. That's how we know it as in Christian culture. Do you understand now where it's all coming from? Or do you still have questions? It is very simple. There you are working it through, yes, the work on all your mistakes and everything we drag along from this material world, we're gonna have to live through there, until we live it through fully. The evolution is inevitable. That's why we will work hard on bugs there, and it won't be too little for us, and only after that we are coming back here by samsara, yes. But there are also some primitive worlds, what we call hell. Of course, it is the least desirable. That's why the people who've had a near-death experience say that we have to be more careful the way we live. Because with the death of the physical body, our life doesn't end. And trust me, you wouldn't want to go the hard way. Yes, that's what things are. So those people change fundamentally. They have a completely different view on life after having a near-death experience and remembering what they've seen there. That there are low parts of the subtle world where the life is very difficult, as the mechanism of purification is working on you profoundly. But awakening and movement further is the exit beyond all of the material worlds, because the subtle world is within the matter too. So we have covered this generally. If someone personally has more questions, you can ask me later on, so that we don't take too much time with that. Gennady, I have a question. So, if hell is located in the subtle world, does it mean that our world is the most rough? Does it mean that when we leave our body after death, everything exists in the subtle world? So then our world is the most material and most rough? Or is there a rougher world that we have passed already? Is it relevant right now? No, it's just curiosity. I wouldn't want to answer this question right now. You will answer this question yourself for me. You know, it's not that interesting to see the world through my eyes. I want for more people to begin seeing all of this spectrum. And right now we are talking about that, to pass this awakening point. Guys, even the exit from all these material worlds, it is not the end of the journey. It is just the beginning. Do you realize how interesting and how big the scale is? And we are only talking about one planet. Guys, do you realize how it all is? And how do we live, not seeing further than our own noses? And people, look how they live. They are not even interested in such topics. And it is quite sad to see. Here we need to make first confident steps with these retreats. You grow very fast through it, and it will start opening to you. Once it will start opening, I would like to listen what will you say about it. That you will begin seeing things, and it is very interesting to discuss. Okay, let's sit comfortably.